Hi YouTube! Welcome back for episode 2 of Life Talks with Tejal. If you're new, I welcome you here. It's a great place to stay, so I hope you click that subscribe button. So let's get straight to it. I first want to say thank you guys so much for all the love that I got from my first episode. I was honestly so overwhelmed by the response that I got, and thank you guys so much for all your feedback. I really appreciate it. So I'm actually in the middle of moving, which is why my setup looks like this. I think I like it more. I don't know, you guys let me know what you think, but I think I like the setup more. It's more chilled out, more relaxed. I feel like I'm just, hanging out in my bed. Anyways, I thought of this video a long time ago, like all things. But I think it's super relevant right now because of what's going on in the world. I feel like a lot of people are very anxious and stressed out by COVID-19, and rightfully so. But I, on the other hand, I am not feeling that stressed or anxious about it, and I'm like not bragging because, my brain just might be broken, which is why I'm like this. But I thought I would share what makes me this way, what's helped me keep this Hakuna Matata lifestyle that I'll be talking about, what's helped me maintain that lifestyle and stay super calm and zen and stress-free for the most part. So basically the Hakuna Matata lifestyle is like, it's a lifestyle. And what it means to me is like being optimistic, being positive, being stress-free. I think the actual saying is, it means no worries for the rest of your day's life. I'm not sure. I should probably Google that before I made this video. But also it means like having like a low resting stress level. And this is a term that I made up myself with my cousins. You know who you are. We were literally just hanging out at Restoration Hardware, which is a really cool bougie IKEA at Yorkdale Mall in Toronto. And that's where we came up with the fact that I have a very low resting stress level, whereas other people might have high resting stress levels. What that means is like on a day-to-day basis, like my stress and anxiety level is pretty low, and some people might feel like here or even here as like a normal level of stress for when things are going good in their life. So my cousins telling me that was part of the reason of how I figured out that I'm like this, because I feel like we don't really think about how we are as people. But I realized that I was like this because of one, people told me that I'm like this, and two, I feel like over time I would notice myself not being freaked out when a lot of people were freaked out. And an example of this is fourth year in university where everyone's trying to like land their full-time jobs. It was definitely a time of a lot of stress and anxiety for a lot of people, and I felt like throughout most of it I was pretty okay, even though I wasn't getting the interviews I wanted to get. But I was still like, somewhere in my mind I was like, you know what's gonna happen for you is gonna happen for you. You went to a good school, you got a decent education, and so I wasn't really worried. And everyone every single day would come up to me and be like, oh my god, did you get this, did you not get this? And there was just like anxiety throughout the entire atmosphere, and I couldn't really understand why, because I was like, we all did well in school, or we're all gonna get something. Until one day it hit me. I was like, should I be freaking out? Everyone else is freaking out, why am I not freaking out? And then I freaked out. So I'm not entirely never stress-free, like it does happen, but that was like a lot of buildup of everyone constantly being around me that was in the exact same mindset. Also, shout out to my best friend for calling me out and being like, Tejal, you never freak out. Why are you freaking out? Why are you letting this get to you? That really kept me in check. So that's how I realized that the way I manage stress and worrying is different than a lot of people, and I thought that it would be really cool for me to share my experiences and the tips that I've learned from other people around me on how to achieve this Hakuna Matata lifestyle. So I asked 2 people who I find are very similar to me in their way of managing stress, and I asked them the same question. I asked them, what do you think makes you this way? And I was actually surprised at how similar their answers were to mine. So the first person I asked was my brother Parashar, who you probably will meet. Oh, I completely forgot to mention in my last episode that I will be bringing on guests throughout the series, and I'm really excited for that because obviously my experiences are great, but other people's experiences are even better. So I'm definitely gonna have guests coming on to talk to you, and my brother will definitely be a guest because he is just, living a life in New York City. There's so many things I learn from him all the time. And so I asked him, and Parashar said, it comes naturally. That was actually my own response when I try to figure out and pinpoint how I am. I was like, I just am this way. It comes naturally. But obviously when he gave it more thought, he kind of realized what he did or what he does. He doesn't think a lot. I agree. I think a lot. but usually does not stress me out. So I'm not sure if thinking a lot or not thinking a lot can help. Obviously it depends on person to person. I definitely agree on like focusing on the current day and the task at hand. I feel like that like breaks down goals, breaks down whatever you need to do into smaller, more feasible things that you can take care of versus like a huge thing. Don't plan a lot because things will not go exactly how I am. Like, if you know me, I love spontaneous things. I do plan, like if I travel, I have a planned itinerary, but it's just there to be a guide. It's not like something I have to like follow to the T. I like to kind of just go with the flow, enjoy things as they come to me, and because my plan is never really concrete. That stresses out a lot of people who aren't like me. They'll be like, oh my god, but we have an itinerary, and I'm like, oh my god, let's just chill. Sorry. Okay, so the second person I asked was my cousin. So I asked my cousin Thera. So Thera said that my parents are like that, so it's made it easy for me to be like that. That his mindset is to actively be aware that I don't want a lifestyle of stress and worry. And so this is something that he said that was interesting to me that I didn't agree with right away. But he said being aware of privilege, knowing that I have it better than a vast majority of people. So I didn't agree with that at first, just because I think everyone has like an equal share of issues on their plate, no matter where in the world you are. I feel like you shouldn't not validate your feelings of worry and stress. Obviously privilege and like, being, first world problems versus like not first world problems are a thing. But so what he added to that, which made me agree with this point, was he said that thinking of that and thinking of people who are less fortunate makes him realize that his problems are smaller than most and that he doesn't have much to worry about anyways when you look at the big picture. So I do agree with that. I think when you put yourself in perspective of different situations, you might feel better about your own situation. Okay, so that's all. Thank you, you two, for your great answers. Which brings me to me and what makes me this way. So when I started planning this video, I tried to pinpoint why I'm like this, why I don't get stressed out, and it was honestly really hard to figure out what the main points were. So I did pinpoint a few things, and I think that mostly it's been overall, over time, how my experiences have positively reinforced this no worry lifestyle. So I've definitely learned over time that whenever I worry, I don't perform well, I freak out, it just does not help me at all. And when I don't worry, things just naturally fall into place. And I think part of it, like this is very spiritual, but part of it is like the energy you send out to the universe is what comes back your way. So if you're freaking out about something, you're probably having more negative thoughts for that situation. And that's probably what you're like pushing into the universe, if that makes sense. But yeah, so I just realized over time that whenever I didn't freak out, I just did better and things would work out better. An example of that is, okay, this is gonna be personal. An example of this was my grade 12 year. I was going through a lot. So basically in grade 12, you're applying for universities and stuff, and you're trying to figure out which discipline you want to study, what type of career you want, and like my head was all over the place. I didn't know if I wanted to become a doctor. I didn't know if I wanted to go into business or law. Like I had so many options in my mind, I couldn't figure it out, on top of other things that were happening at home. And I think what helped me get through that in a positive way was I stopped worrying about the outcome. I was like, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. I'm gonna apply to whatever and every like programs and see what comes back. And as of course, like in grade 12, you have to keep your marks up. So I was just focusing on like every single test, one test at a time. And I'd like recalculate my average after every single test. I think all of us did that. But rather than freaking out that, like, what if I don't do well? I was just like, one at a time, gotta do this. Like, I need to prove to my parents that I'm smart. So I eventually narrowed it down that I wanted to go into either business or medicine. So my parents really wanted me to become a doctor or like go down the medical path. That's something I wanted for myself too for a very long time, but I wasn't sure. I really could not make up my mind. I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna apply for both and see what happens. If both come back, let's see, we'll figure it out then. And luckily, or unluckily, I don't know. So my application to the health science program actually got messed up. They got the wrong marks and I wasn't able to get in touch with them. I don't know, like it just fell through the cracks. I like called them a couple of times and they're like, yeah, we're like gonna figure it out. We're gonna fix it for you. But obviously it's a very competitive program to get into. So that didn't happen. And I was a little bummed out. And then like many weeks later, finally I got Schulich, and I was like, this is what it was meant to be. Like this, I got into the business school that I wanted to get into, and I was so relieved. And at that point, finally, it just felt right. Like I was like, yes, this is what I actually wanted. And I think this was one of those big defining moments in my life where I realized that when I was just like, you know what? Let the universe decide. I can only just focus on me working hard, me getting the works, me doing what I need to do. I cannot control the outcome at all. I was able to compartmentalize, and so I have that in like bold here, compartmentalization. This is something I've done for a long time, is like I'm able to just like store away different things in different parts of my brain so I can focus on the one task at hand and not worry about all the outcomes and possibilities and everything else. And it's really helped me stay sane and zen and focused. Okay, so that's the end of that example because I went on for way too long. So another thing that's helped me is being aware of people's energies. This is a very interesting topic. I'm naturally attracted to people with very positive energies, very like warm auras, and you know, people who are very like freaked out, I kind of just step away. I'm like, okay, you do you, and I'm gonna be in my bubble where I'm all zen'd out. Obviously, you can't avoid people all the time. You know, sometimes like your coworkers or your boss or your family members can have a very crazy energy, and that's something you just need to work out within or with them, of like how you manage a relationship. In my example, my boyfriend is definitely somebody who has a more hyper crazy energy. And I feel like over time, I've like naturally, like my vibe has just taken him over. I've pushed it on him. But yeah, I've like zen'd him out a little bit, which is better for me. Secondly, this is something I've become aware of more recently, is just being mindful of the content of the media that you are ingesting. Especially right now, I feel like everyone's just glued to the news, and it's my biggest pet peeve because like the news is just so, like it's okay. You need to be informed. You can be informed by watching the news for like 15 to 20 minutes, but it does not need to be constantly on 24/7. Okay, no, I should not tell people what to do. But personally speaking, I think that it's a very depressive thing. Like everyone just sounds so somber and so serious on the news right now, and it's all about death, and it's just very morbid. Also, like something I realize I do is like when I have a very tough day, or if I have like a very long, tiring day at work, I can't come home and watch something very serious. Like I can't watch Dynasty, which is like, it's just really dramatic for me at that point. Or I can't watch like a documentary on something very sad or serious on that day, because I know I'm already like so tired that me watching that, like I just want to come home and watch like Friends, or like watch like a very 20 to 30 minute sitcom that's gonna make me just relax and happy and laugh a little. So I've always done that, and I've never consciously thought about it, but I just know I'm not in the mood for something like very serious on those days. Also, something I've learned over time is meditation. And like meditation doesn't have to be like the typical, you know, stare at a candle and like chant Om. To me, meditation is like, I go for a walk and just like anything that can like take my mind entirely and like have my focus entirely on that one activity that I'm doing is meditation for me. So if I'm dancing, that's meditation for me because I'm so involved in it that I'm not thinking of anything else. So things like walking outside, dancing, reading, like then you'll be very present in that moment and what you're doing. That's always helped me like very much. I feel like it just automatically makes me feel better in general. Being active, I should definitely do that more. But I always notice that when I am active, I instantly feel better. And clean spaces. I am a very messy person. Okay, not very messy person, but I am a messy person and I don't like it. Like I enjoy when my apartment, when my space is clean. So obviously your environment affects how you think, and your environment affects your mental peace. So if your environment is very chaotic and very messy, it probably just adds more stress to however you're feeling. So those are basically the tips that I've learned from other people and the experiences that I've had myself, which make me the Hakuna Matata person that I am. And being this way has helped me in a lot of ways. It's also has its cons though, which I'll talk about in a bit. So being a low stressed individual, that's not a word either, or term, but things that it's helped me do is, you know, it's easier for me to get out of my comfort zone. I feel like it really is the backbone of how, or of what makes me an easygoing person. It's like a huge part of my personality, and I feel like because I worry about less things, I'm okay with more things, versus people who are stressed about more things are less okay with certain things because they have so much on their plate that they need things to go a certain way or whatever. That's just my observation. But yes, it's really helped me because I'm like, you know, I have no plans, we can do whatever. And it also helps me be okay in chaos and instability. I feel like I thrive in chaos. It's probably not a good thing. But yeah, I'm like totally okay with ambiguous situations. And the cons of that are, they're pretty big too. So like, you know, stress is good. I actually watched a documentary, not a documentary, I watched like a YouTube video of somebody interviewing a FBI agent, which she like spoke about how like a certain amount of stress is good for people because that's what keeps you vigilant and keeps you alert. Like you should have a little bit of stress just to keep you, you know, aware of your surroundings and like, you know, take care of yourself. So that's where my cons come in. Being a stress-free person, I, you know, procrastinate a lot because the idea of me not finishing on time does not worry me as much as it should. And things don't hit me till a lot later, which could be also concerning. Like if something really bad is happening, I'll be like, yeah, it's chill, it's cool. And then I'm like, oh wait, no, we need to figure this out. It's not good. So the last con is something that I've been working on because it really isn't good. I do want to improve because I just want to be a nice person overall. But the con is that because I worry a lot less or a lot later, I can't relate to other people worrying about those things, or like I can't feel empathetic towards them right away. I'll probably think that they're being super extra, and I'm sure they get that vibe and energy from me and they're like, okay, why is this girl not getting it? Like this is an issue. And I'm just like, it's good, you good, why are you worrying? Obviously somebody who's worrying does not want to hear, why are you worrying? Don't worry, that's not effective. So that's something I've worked on for a while, and like I think rather than me telling them not to worry, I kind of just listen to them, and yeah, it's still a work in progress. And with that, I'm going to conclude my video. It's been a great time, guys. So I hope this video brings some positivity into your lives in this very confusing time. I hope it helps you with some tricks and tips to feel more zen, more calm in life in general. Obviously, okay, I'm gonna say this. I should have said this before. Obviously, it is okay to be stressed. It is okay to be worried. It is okay. Like everything is just okay. Like you don't have to be like me. This is not the goal. It's not like, oh, you must be a stress-free person. This is just how I am. And I feel like these things have helped me in life. So yeah, you do you and do what's best for you and go on your journey. So I hope you guys follow me on Instagram. We can be Instagram friends and you can learn a lot more about me and me about you. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!